Who taught Zyzz to dance? Who
Ooh.
taught him? Is this just in his room doing his thing? Did he watch a YouTube video?
I want to talk to you, Greg, about your hair transplant because
Sure.
I also got a hair transplant as well. I'm not sure if you know or not. What products are you use to maintain and keep your hair intact at your age now? And are you aware of a product called RU58841 and what it does for hair?
Okay, and so full disclosure, I'm
Yes.
using nothing and could care less about my hair.
Not
People
even
aren't going to believe it.
Not even finasteride.
Never used that. Never used any products whatsoever. And people aren't going to believe it because it's like, well, dude, you got a hair transplant. You must care. And it's like 100% honest. I went to get a hair transplant because my girlfriend wanted to get it done. And I was like, I'll get it done with you. It's a couples thing. And when I got there, they checked out her hair. She was missing 30,000 hairs. She had Crohn's disease. It was very brittle hair. She couldn't get it done. And I'm like, well, I'm here. I may as well get it done anyway. So if it grows great, awesome. If it didn't work for me, awesome. I really don't care that much. I'm going to plan on shaving my head bald. It's just starting to grow in a little bit. It's been
How many months?
3.5 months later. So it's just starting. People are like, oh, your hair is horrible. It didn't work. I'm like, it takes like a year to grow back properly. So I'm just starting to see some of the hairs starting to grow in now.
Exactly. So if you're at the 4-month point, I mean, from personal experience, my hair was at its full density at around 1 year. And if there's anything I can recommend for you to make it look even better, which I did personally myself, I want you to look into SMP, scalp micropigmentation. It's a semi-permanent tattoo. It lasts about 2-3 years. And they fill in the gaps of the hair transplant because obviously the hairs that they transplant aren't going to be as thick and as dense as the natural part of your hair. So the SMP will thicken that up as well. And you can only do that 9 months post-hair transplant, I believe. I mean, me personally, to stop further hair loss, I've got a cosmetics brand and I use a product from my brand. It's called RU58841. And I just apply that topically to my scalp because I noticed even when I'm comp prepping, dude, like I would be shedding a few more hairs in the shower. I've got a shower catcher so I can kind of gauge how much hair loss I'm having because I don't want to, I love my hair, dude. I don't want to lose my hair. But ever since like I'll use my product, the RU58841, like it's a topical application. I'll put it on my scalp. And I know Derek from moreplates.moredates.com advocates the use of RU58841 as well. So I was just seeing if you're familiar with it as well and if you use it.
I watched his video on it and that's as much as I went. I personally, I know that these things can help. I just don't have the commitment or the desire or I've never had great hair. I've just had hair and it's never been something that I've really focused on. I got the hair transplant. So you'd think I'd be hyper focused on my hairline and so on, but I kind of just did it for an experience, to be honest. But I know a lot of people care about their hair and a lot of people using PDs. It's enhancing how fast they're losing their hair. So if people want to use these products, I mean, I would highly encourage it because I do know that they can work.
Well, there you go, guys. So if you want to restore your hair, you know, there's the doctors prescribed finasteride out there. If you guys don't want to nuke your own body's DHT, there's RU58841, which is more topical DHT blocker, which you can apply on your scalp. But I'm finding this very interesting because I thought you might have been a bit more anal about your hair approach, seeing as you got a hair transplant. So I thought we might have that in common. So again, I implore you guys to do your research. Listen to the likes of Derek, More Plates, More Dates. I kind of got inspired through him to have my own hair products, including the RU58841. It was a big inspiration for me into launching my cosmetic brand. So a little shout out to Derek. Love your work, bro. Keep doing your shit. Eventually, if you do decide to change your mind, I'll send you some of my products, dude. You can try it on your scalp, see how you go. I'm not sure if you still compete anymore, but it'll be a good thing to do while you're competing to keep that hair of yours like locked in.
If I do compete, I'll be doing it natural, or if they allow HRT, I'm not going to go on what I've done in the past.
Are you on HRT at the moment?
I'm on 140 milligrams of test a week right now. Every week I do I do 100 milligrams every 5 days right now. If I forget or do it a bit early, I'll do 80 milligrams every 4 days. And if I forget, I might do 120 every 6, but it works out to 140 every week. I've been consistently doing that. And it is doctor prescribed.
It's not too different from what I'm doing. I'm doing, so obviously when I'm not on cycle prepping, I will do 125 mg a week as well of, pharmaceutical grade test or 125 mg every 10 days. Not doctors prescribed, but pharmaceutical. For the older fellas who feel like, they might have a low libido or low sex drive, like I personally, and I would say wholeheartedly, I would advocate going on TRT after the age of mid to late 30s. If you've been on steroids your whole life and you're kind of shut down. If you haven't, there's no need, to be honest. But I feel like every male out there could benefit from TRT 45 plus, every fucking male on earth. Like, I wish I could get my own father to believe in this kind of shit because, with the right controlled environment and with the right dosage, you can live a longer, better, happier life and have a better sex drive, more libido, more energy. And what's your take on that, dude? Like, what would you say for the older gentlemen on our channels looking to do TRT test for longevity reasons?
I think that people not using HRT, it's sad that people view it in such a negative light. I think that the social media, the news, the reporters, it's kind of put a negative spin on the use of testosterone. And as soon, like a commercial, they can't even say testosterone. They say, do you have low T? They can't even say, hey guys, do you have low testosterone? It's a scary word. And so,
and then there's bloody chicks out there that are the dudes out there that are getting on estrogen pills and posting their transformations, turning from fucking, men to women. And they're like, oh, 1 month on estrogen, 2 months on estrogen. But shit, let's just kill masculinity, or what they call it, toxic masculinity. Let's just sweep that under the rug because it's not needed in society. But God be damned if you fucking talk about a dude taking testosterone. No. Can't have that happening. It's just so fucking backwards and like one-sided. Like, for those who can see it, it's so wrong.
My perfect example is women are given birth control, which is controlling their hormones at 12, 13, 14, and no one bats an eye. No one says anything. And then if a guy is 45 years old, has low testosterone, low libido, problem sleeping, and if they're given HRT, they have to keep it secret because they don't want anyone to know because they'll be judged. You're a cheater. Why you need that? It's like, you've been on estrogen for 30 years and I can't take testosterone in my mid 40s, or I'm a cheater. It's horrible.
It's just the stigma, I think, revolved around injecting. People that inject testosterone, essentially they see us as drug addicts. They don't see past that because of the stigma that, the government and just everyone else and the media have made around steroids, but, everything in limitation controlled is fine. But I mean, shit, even, like if fucking you abuse aspirin, you'll be dead, bro. Like if you abuse anything in life, sugar, like you'll fuck yourself. But if you have limitations in anything, then, you're going to be fine. So it's just about knowing that and about going down that path. So there's a right and a wrong way to do everything, including steroids, including TRT. But yeah, it's just a damn shame because it'd be changing a lot of men's lives if they weren't so scared, because a lot of men are influenced by the media and what other people say and the stigma around it all. I don't know. Hopefully one day that will change.
It'll get normal. The more people that speak about it, like if me, you, Derek, and many others, imagine once the famous movie stars start admitting that they're taking steroids for their movie roles. Dude, imagine the world, how it's going to change.
Imagine The Rock came out and he's like, yeah, dude, like I cycle this. I do HGH for longevity. That's why I look so young. I do test. The reason I'm lifting this weight is because I'm this, but it's all doctor controlled and doctor prescribed. I do this for such and such and such. There's side effects, but at the same time, these are the health benefits and the differences it's made to my life. And this is why I do it. Like, what a fucking time in the world that would be when celebrities, proper celebrities, can be honest about that kind of stuff. That'd be incredible.
And I think it's not too far off.
I don't think so too, but the only times we've seen a glimpse of it is like, for example, Sylvester Stallone getting pulled up at the airport with his HGAs. And it's like, we all know, like the smart ones know, it's like, this cunt looks so fucking young at his age. Like that's there for a reason. And I don't think we're too far off because the culture now is changing, and Gen Z, they know what's up. Like they're not stupid. Like I feel like they're a lot more smarter than our generation, my generation, your generation, because of the knowledge out there and because of technology and the internet. So they could spot a fake addict from a mile away, like celebrity or not. So it's going into the culture now of just being honest and being open. And I feel like we're not quite there yet, but I feel like we're making progress and we're taking steady strides in that direction.
Yeah, we're definitely getting close. I think it's just one famous actor away from admitting what they're doing it. And before long, it'll be normalized. I think that in the future, people will see anti-aging and using testosterone or what have you to help them to feel better. I think that's going to be normalized. And 20 years from now, we'll look back and be like, I can't believe people were shy to admit they're an HRT.
Yeah, and then people like you and me would have had to, bleed for everyone to have a more honest, easier life, and not get the repercussions of judgment.
So Hanur Rahman wants to know, what are you doing nowadays and what are your long-term ambitions, family life, and so on?
I've got a few online businesses that I'm a part of that provide me streams of income. I have my clothing line here. I'm wearing the shirt here. It's got the logo of me and a Zyzz. You guys can see I'm there on the left, Zyzz there on the right. So I've had Subversion Fitness clothing line for about 7 or 8 years. I launched that back in 2014. Me and my brother, we had a dream actually when we were on the scene to create a clothing line together, and he never got a chance to live that out. So I obviously started that, in memory of him, and God willing, and through just sheer hard work and determination, that brand has grown and flourished. In the last 7-8 years, it's actually gotten even better in the last year with all the Zyzz hype around the TikTok era. So it's been crazy, man, and it's been super humbling as well to be able to be running that business. So I've got the clothing line. I've got my own cosmetics line. I've got some of my products here. You guys might see aesthetic cosmetics, like I said before. The hair stuff. I've got a skincare line, which I use myself. And we had even Mike O'Hearn working for me not long ago on the skincare line. He was one of our ambassadors. And you see, I've got the aesthetic cosmetics, which looks after men. It's essentially, it's a male online beauty clinic that looks after everything that's beard, skin, and hair. And it's an ever-changing and ever-evolving industry for men to look after themselves and not be ashamed to look after themselves. So I thought I would, capture that market. So that's what I've got, the aesthetic cosmetics brand there. I've got the clothing brand there as well. And then I'm also an ambassador for a Sarms company that I've been using as well for my own prep. Just a few of the Sarms here that I'm using. I'll go into detail a little bit later. Combine it all together, it creates a decent income. I'm quite grateful. I'm very happy to be where I'm at. And I've also got a few side projects as well that I'm working on, of getting Zyzz and Chesper Netflix series, a documentary on basically Zyzz's life and me picking up the afterpieces after his passing and where I've led on from there and what's going on after that. So I'm actually in the midst of talking to producers, and I think my guys got in contact with your guys.
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. We're in the midst of it all. It's probably going to take a year, and the budget's $10 million, but you know what I mean? I made a promise to myself after my brother passed that I would do everything I can in my power for his story to be on the fucking big screens. And it's actually fucking happening. We've got the investors on board. Like, I'm very happy to see that you can see the vision and you can see what we're trying to build here for Zyzz, and it's incredible to even get you to be a part of that journey. And we're getting a whole bunch of other investors too, so that's going to be something really awesome to launch as well. On top of that, I'm also working on some NFT projects revolving around myself and my brother, and I'm planning on using that money to build a gym in Sydney in his memory and his name, and hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully build a huge massive fuck off statue inside the gym of him, and that would be my present to him. So I've got a few things in the works for me, and I'm doing pretty well. Knock on wood. I don't like to give myself the evil eye, but I'm doing pretty well, and I'm living the kind of lifestyle where, like you, I could just get up and do what I want and travel and just record content. And I'm more of an Instagrammer than a YouTuber. I know you're bigger on YouTube. I'm a little bit more bigger on Instagram, so most of my revenue comes from there. But in saying that, I would like to get my YouTube pumping, because I know I've got the potential. I know I've got I've got what it takes to be a great YouTube star, but it's so fucking hard, dude, to have a camera crew follow you around everywhere and one that's reliable that can always do the shit you need to do. And it's just fuck, man. So it has to get to a point where I either have to make a decision that, listen, I'm going to be blogging myself and putting the videos up myself, or I'm going to have to find someone that I could pay on a permanent role, like a salary, to do this for me, which I'm sure you probably do. So that's obviously the avenue I'm going. But aside from my business ventures, if I meet a nice lady, awesome, that'd be great. But in the industry I'm in, and I'm sure you know, Greg, like it's super hard to meet someone who's very understanding and very supportive of the lifestyle that we live, especially competing, you know, back and forth, back and forth. It can be really draining in a relationship and really taxing. So I don't like to bring anyone into that life unless they're completely ready for it. So at the moment, no family, guys. I'm just literally focusing on myself and my goals and focusing on my brother's goals as well. So I'm literally living for two men. I want to make my dreams come true and I want to make my brother's dreams come true. Thanks.
And that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you have a lot on the go. You're doing really well. And my advice would just be keep following your passion, whatever's fun for you.
Yeah.
And if it's YouTube videos, do that. If not, just keep doing what you're doing.
On top of that, I forgot to mention a big passion of mine, obviously now, is the competitive bodybuilding too, which I've dabbled in the last 3 years. So essentially, I've been a party boy all my life as well. And I've kind of just cleaned up my act. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I want the glory on the stage. I want to be a WBFF pro champion. I want to be a fitness world champion. So I'm this close, Craig. I'm this fucking close. Like, I came second in my last comp. I just missed out. I just missed out on that pro card. And dude, I was devastated, man. I was fucking crying and in tears afterwards. Like, and that's when I realized like how much this sport means to me and how much I love to be on stage and compete. Like, I love it, man. I love it. It makes me feel fucking alive. It makes me feel, can't even imagine what it makes me feel. And I'm fucking like, I'm surprised I got this much energy 4 weeks out from my next comp. But another big thing I am doing, guys, is I'm now dabbling in the competing career. I'm at the peak of my life. I've just turned 36. I feel like as an ectomorph, we progress a little bit later than our mesomorph and endomorph counterparts. Point in example, Frank Zane had his best physique at 39. 39-40 is when he had his actual best physique, I believe. And I think in the next 3-4 years, I'm really going to use this time before I start going downhill at 40 plus, no offense. I'm going to use this time to really, really fucking make those goals and dreams come true of becoming a WFF pro fitness world champion. And once I get the pro card, it's not just going to end there. Like, I want to go and compete in Vegas in the pro shows and win a pro show. 4 weeks away, guys. Pray for me. Please send me your energy. Like, this means so much to me. And for any of you guys that want to watch, Greg, if you want to watch WBFF_Australia, it's going to be aired live on their page on April 9th. And honestly, guys, like, any support means the fucking world to me, guys. Like, you don't know how important it is for us bodybuilders to have that kind of support system, because my parents haven't been too supportive of my lifestyle and I don't have many friends around me doing the same thing. My whole support system has been the fans. It's always been the fans, and it's going to continue being the fans. And I think it's important to give thanks to the fans. And I know I'm blabbering a little bit and going a little bit off topic, but I just want to say that, you know, that support system is what keeps me going. So thank you, guys. And 4 weeks.
I totally get. I mean, obviously, I turned pro on my 50th competition, so you can imagine how many years it took. I think I was 35. That's 17 years of competing, and I kept at it. My last show, I finally made my top 5 in the pro ranks. That was my goal. I was like, I want top 5. I got 4th. And the excitement you get from competing, it's just unbelievable. And I've stopped bodybuilding since then. I haven't retired. I might compete again, but I've replaced that with competing in bike racing virtually. And it's like, for me, it's just like, find something you absolutely love on this planet and give it your 100% and just enjoy it. And for you right now, it's bodybuilding. Perhaps maybe it'll be running down the road or skiing. Who knows?
Exactly.
It's just find something.
Dude, 10 years ago, I never thought I'd be on stage bodybuilding. Like, everyone knew me, and even knew like my brother as just those party boys in the fitness scene. Like, for a big part, we weren't taken as serious bodybuilders. But I think now with my transition onto the bodybuilding stage, I've been chasing this pro card for the last 3 years. You know, my comp 2 years ago at WFF, I came 4th, and my recent one 10 months ago, I came 2nd. So now it's like, you know, I'm the favorite to win this next one. So it's building up, and it just shows that, you know, like you said, hard work, passion, drive, determination, and just sheer grit, like, and loving what you fucking do, like, genuinely loving what you do. And like, I think people can see that in my videos when I'm competing. They can feel the energy. They can see the smile on my face. Like, fuck, man, Said looks alive. Like, he looks like he is fucking owning it. And he's loving being there on stage. Whereas a lot of people look like they're fucking half dead, because I genuinely love it, Greg. Like, I wish I would have got into competing sooner, but, you know, situation of circumstance, I've had a fucking very interesting life, if you could put it in words, a very interesting life, and which has distracted me from a lot of the things that I've wanted to do. But those distractions are long fucking gone, brother. And I'm ready to claim that pro card, and I'm hungry, man. So
who taught Zyzz to dance? Who
Ooh.
taught him? Is this just in his room doing his thing? Did he watch a YouTube video?
I could say, look, I'll say it was a combination of the Jersey Shore influence, and really the dancing was derived from a subculture in Melbourne at the time, Melbourne, Australia, as you guys like to call it, Melbourne, Australia, at the time, called the tectonic. So that obviously like incorporates, like you've probably seen like all the moves, like the windscreen wipes, the follow throughs, like all the moves, like he'd be practicing just in his room, like in front of the mirror. And, you know, practice makes perfect, bro. Repetition, 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 brother. Just like with bodybuilding. And then the tectonic migrated into the muzzer. And now the muzzer has migrated into chopping, which all the young kids do now. So it's kind of evolving with time. You know all about chopping, don't you, Alex? No?
I suck at it.
Okay, all the Asians do it back here. So yeah, whatever, man. That's that. So, but yeah, great question. I wanted to actually talk about Sarms because I dabbled on it a little bit. I wanted to talk to you about your opinion on Sarms versus steroids and their place in bodybuilding. And have you used Sarms? And what are your favorite Sarms personally? And what can you compare some of the Sarms you've used to some of the steroids that are out there?
Man, that's a lot. But I've pretty much done videos on all this, and I've used several different kinds of SARMs. And to me, it's just like an easier version of taking a steroid. It's almost like a gateway to taking steroids. However, I think that some SARMs are actually stronger than steroids. So let's, for example, take RAD 140. Well, LGD is one of the stronger ones, but RAD 140 was always my favorite. And I compare it to Anavar, except for me, RAD 140 was stronger than Anavar. So I would enter a bench press contest and I'm only taking RAD 140. And I'm like, how am I so strong? It's really that effective. Now, in comparison, you could take testosterone and tren at high doses. It's obviously going to be stronger, but the RAD 140 still works. Now, the only problem is it can still cause suppression. So if you are taking SARMs, you still have to get your blood work done and still see, is my body reducing the amount of test? Do I need a PCT? And make sure that you're giving your blood work because they're not 100% safe. Everything that you take seems to have some kind of a danger. There's some kind of a problem that could happen, especially if you have the genetics that are, conducive to having poor blood work. So if you are taking SARMs, and don't do so if you're a teenager, wait till you're older. And I always say, do so at the advice of your doctor, tell them what you're doing and monitor yourself, but they definitely work. And in comparison, like probably was more than 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, I'd started taking them. People didn't even think they worked. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Some of these things work stronger than actual steroids.
I think there's still people out there that are very skeptical on SARMs, and which is why I wanted to talk about it, because me, myself personally, for my comp prep now, and for all my comp preps, I use SARMs in conjunction with steroids. I'm using MK677 as like kind of like a growth inhibitor, and
growth hormone secretagogue.
Yeah.
So it's not really a SARM, but I've used that a number of times. Really keeps a lot of water weight on you.
Look, you wouldn't call MK677 a SARM, but I mean, it's a fucking amazing compound, and it's such a gateway that the gains on it are incredible, even on its own. That it's built up a lot of hype over the years, but
the good thing of the MK is it doesn't lower your testosterone levels. So a lot of people could use, say you're using RAD 140 and you're suppressed. Well, then you have to come off and take a PCT. Well, during that PCT, you can take MK677 because it's not going to prevent your testosterone levels from returning to normal. So it's kind of like you're taking this thing, RAD 140, Austrian, whatever that's helping you, you take it away. And then what? You're going to lose some of your gains. But if you add in the MK, kind of offset. And so you always have something helping you. And I have done videos on that exactly in detail.
Excellent. Okay, well, you got to send me some of the links to those videos because I know you have spoken and dabbled in SARMs. That's why I wanted to get your point of view. I'm honestly pro SARMs, and not just because I'm endorsed by SARMs company, but I genuinely believe they work and they have their place in bodybuilding. Are they better than steroids? To some degree, at certain things, yes. To other degrees, no. It's not a clear answer. Like everyone's different. You know what I mean? Like if you're one that's not looking for invasive ways of putting on muscle mass, then sure, SARMs might be, a more viable option than having to pin and inject in that sense. But if you're obviously looking for more long-term steady gains, then, maybe steroids are more your option, but everyone's different. And then there's going to be a different anecdote from different people. But myself personally, like I'm using the LGD and I find it's like bloody oral tren during my comp preps. I'm using that with the MK677 along with like testosterone and tren during my comp prep now, and with great fucking results, amazing results even. So I'll always be pro Sarms, even though a lot of people out there are very iffy on the topic. So it's good to see that, you know, you're pro Sarms as well. And again, I'm going to mention Derek's name. I know Derek's loves MK677, has made plenty of videos about it as well. And yeah, it's just good to see that, you know, there's some knowledgeable people that aren't just bashing on Sarms and saying, no, Sarms are rubbish, like stick to the real thing. And that's like, no, they definitely have their place. And they definitely fucking work. I remember just doing a Sarms only cycle of LGD and RAD, and dude, it looked like I was on Tren and Prop. The results were no fucking different.
I think that Sarms is also more popular. I think there's more people using Sarms than steroids right now. I really believe that. I think that because steroids are illegal in many countries and Sarms are not, I mean, if you're trying not to break the law, you have something that you can take. It's not recommended for human consumption, but it's something you can take without breaking the law. So it's somewhere right in the middle. So depending on your countries, you know, check the laws. I don't know if the laws have changed or what have you, but you know, steroids, many countries illegal. Canada, you can use steroids. You just can. It's not illegal. You can't sell them, but you can have them. You can have them in your house and use them, and it's not illegal. But United States, you can't do that. So it depends on the country. So please, you know, check the laws of your own country.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great answer. So there you go, guys. We've just got Greg's point of view and opinion on Sarms. Awesome to hear.
Jacob Miska and myself, I want to know this as well, really. What did your parents think of your lifestyles? Your parents, because like I'm thinking about my parents. What do they think? What do your parents think about you and everyone? Like, how was your training back then? Now, what did they think? They hate it? Were they okay?
Great question. So back then, they fucking hated it. Okay, so
I thought so. I guess that.
But yeah, I mean, your parents the same when you were younger?
When I was younger, it was 100% natural. They didn't like the diet per se so much because they saw me so restrictive, but they were all for it. But then later on, you know, steroids and whatnot, 100% against that. Absolutely hated that. But now that I've been more successful on YouTube and I'm on the doctor prescribed, it's like, hey, you're on doctor prescribed and you're doing good. Do your thing.
As soon as the success came, it was the same with me. My parents turned around. They're like, oh, you're doing okay with this whole fitness gig. Keep going. I'm like, what? I'm like, just because I'm making a bit of money now. It's like, come on, man. But to answer that question, no, they weren't very supportive of our lifestyles from the start. In saying that, we were always predispositioned to look. We were like, I'm going to say in the famous words of Rich Piana, we were either going to become fucking gay or bodybuilders because we grew up watching Van Damme, Slice Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we grew up watching WCW, WWE wrestling. We were so exposed to just muscle-bound men, and we were fucking crazy as kids that, you know, and then on top of that, we got bullied when we were in high school for being really small statured, and then combine that in a recipe, stir it in a pot, take us out of school, let's fucking lift. It just makes, it could either create and set you up for being the person you are for the whole life. So, and it did. It really did. But were our parents ever supportive? No. She knows what I do. She just doesn't want to hear it, doesn't want to see it, doesn't watch my videos. She probably won't watch this video. Hi, Mom, if you ever watch this, hello. You Maren. But she probably won't. So that's that. My dad is very supportive, and he's very proud of Zyzz's achievements and legacy, and he's very proud of what I'm doing at the moment too, and he's all for it, all behind me, which is nice. It's nice to have at least you know, some support in that end. So on the come up, they weren't supportive. And guys, if there's any message I can pass on to you guys, the bodybuilding lifestyle, look, it's a very extreme lifestyle, especially if you're doing it at the you know, at the elite level and competing, and the drug usage or whatever we want to call it and say it. Your parents aren't going to support it. They're not. Like, they don't want you to die. They want you to be healthy. They don't want you to take things in your body that you don't need to take in their eyes. But, you know, you got to do what makes you happy and what your goals and dreams are in this life. And ours was bodybuilding, and, you know, it paid off for me, but it wasn't without sacrifice, and it wasn't without, you know, a lot of doubt from the parents. But like you said, Greg, as soon as the success started rolling in, the tides changed a little bit, and now my dad's like, hurry up and release more clothing, or launch some new products for your cosmetics brand, or how's the ambassador business going with the Sarms? And
that's, I appreciate having an honest answer, not like, oh yeah, they always supported me. Like, you have to be totally honest. And I was like, parents probably weren't fans of that. Anytime you hear, PEDs, I mean, what chance are they going to be supporting that?